Hey everybody, welcome back to my layout. This will be a layout update video for November 2019. Don't have any new rolling stock to show you guys, so let's jump right in and take a look at what's new on the layout. So here at Banff, I managed to do a little bit of work on the station platform. It's one thing that's holding me out from pushing further with the scenery. So you can see along here, I did spray paint the platform kind of a flat black, and then I was trying to fade it with some white airbrush, trying to make it look like semi-new asphalt. And then so in doing that, I kind of did it all at one piece, and then I masked the edges here to kind of represent that 6-inch concrete curve that's there. I also masked off where the station goes, so you can see that remains just the wood color there, but I just wanted to, there's no use painting underneath where the station's going to go. And this kind of gives me a good representation of what the size of the station and how it's going to fit into this scene. It's a huge building. The station will be 4 feet long, about roughly 4 feet long in HO scale. So it's a very big building, and it will kind of be the centerpiece on this section of the layout. So you can see I masked along the edges of the platform to represent that 6-inch curb that's concrete colored. Eventually it won't, it'll stand out more when this is weathered and everything. And this will be more of a light concrete. There's a pretty good view of the station's footprint and the associated sidewalks and curbs around it. So the rest of it is kind of decorative concrete over here, and I'm gonna have to figure out a way to make like sort of a decorative stamped concrete, but I'll work that out at a later date, I think. But it's almost a white color when it's just your normal cement sidewalks. In the era that I've chosen to model, which is around 2010, the station platform was all pavement. So in addition to having to build that really long station eventually, there's also the challenge of Banff platform, which goes past here at the end, past those box cars. In HO scale in real life, it's about 10 to 15 feet, almost 15 feet probably, from the far end here to here. And those of you who know Banff Station, there's warning lines that are painted all the way along the pavement on the rail side of the platform. And that's to keep tourists and people away. There's supposed to be like a no-go zone. You're not supposed to stand in the yellow lines at any time, but especially when a train's coming, so that you're at least 3 feet from the main line. So the problem with that is a ton of masking, and they'll end up being a couple millimeters wide, the lines, and about 15 feet from one end to the other. So I made a tool that I think is going to help me paint these lines rather than having to hand mask the whole thing, which would probably take me longer than it'll take to finish this layout. So what I did was I went to Corel Draw and I did up the lines in HO scale, and I had taken measurements of these years ago and wrote them down, so I had the correct measurements to get these lines right in HO. There's a couple different versions. Near the station there's kind of a bigger version like down here, so I did both. And this is the more common that runs the full length of the platform up here. So I drew it up in Corel Draw. It's all 100% to scale. And what I did was sized it so I can print it on these 11 by 17 large pieces of paper. And what I'm going to do is take a hobby knife, and it will be painful, but I'll have to cut out each one of these 45s. The long lines won't be an issue. Those I can mask, easy, that's not a problem. But it's these little tiny 45s. There's one every couple, there's 2 every centimeter or so. All the way along that platform, I have to do this whole thing. So what my idea is, and I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'm going to mask off the long lines, put those down with the airbrush in yellow, and then I'm going to go and cut these out on this piece of paper. Just the 45s though. Just the 45 lines, and then I'll use this as kind of a movable mask, and I should be able to long and go do 17 inches at a time. Just carefully place it, tape it down, and then spray it on the 45 lines. So that's one way. I think that's going to save me some time, and I want to get it look right, because visually this is a really kind of a staple of the Banff Station, are these warning lines that are on the platform. So I want to make sure I get them right. I want them to be nice and straight and look the part. So hopefully that will work out, and that'll make that job a little bit simpler. So down here at the west end of Banff Station, I added a couple platforms that I had forgot. Of course, after I went and put down the first layer of terrain, I added these two foundations for, which will be the Banff Ice House right here, and it was a little auxiliary building that was around the 2010-ish era. They're both gone now. I think they moved, the Ice House left in 2017, I think, or 2018. But either way, I'm going to include them on my layout just because for a lot of pictures of Banff of the trains, you see the Ice House in the background. I'll throw in a couple pictures here just to kind of reference it. So that's something I'm looking forward to building. It's not a very big building compared to the station, so it should be a pretty easy one. Scratch build it. I was thinking just from airplane wood. So I'm looking forward to doing that pretty soon, hopefully. I think maybe in the next couple months I'll tackle that. But it should be a unique building. It's really area specific to Banff, and it'll look awesome to have that in the background with trains going by. So that brings us to the main thing that I've been working on over this past month, and that is tree making. Yes, lovely, fun tree making. So I did get another, well, I don't know how many more I made. Another 30 or so trees made. Official tree count is up to 63 trees. 63 guys, I've made 63 in total. Got a few more to go. And I've been putting every single one of them in the back corner over here. And it doesn't look like much. That corner is maybe a 3 by 3 by 3 triangle, roughly. There's 63 trees in there, and it's still not filled up. So I think just in that little corner, I'm going to need probably at least 100. So just take a closer look at that, show you what 63 trees looks like in my little 3 by 3 corner. So once you come over here inside the reverse loop, it's not as impressive. 63 trees doesn't go very far. So another 40 or so probably, and I'll have this corner all filled out, and it'll look like it should. Kind of a thick pine forest, pretty much all the same trees. At the end I'm going to go and build a bunch of Scenic Express super trees for the deciduous trees, which are kind of, there's not many of them, maybe like 5 or 10% deciduous in this area, but I'll go ahead and add those after. It'll kind of be like a final thing, because you want to be careful where you put them, because they'll be a lot brighter and they'll draw your eye more. So that's where I'm at with the tree making, guys. It's a slow process. I haven't had a whole lot of time to work on the layout, so when I have been sneaking down here, it's just been kind of do 3 trees. I can do 3 at once, 3 medium-sized ones or 2 large trees at the same time. So I kind of come down, just spin a couple of those off and then let them dry and then cut them the next day. So that's what I've been up to this past month, and that's probably what my winter is going to be like, is going to be working on the layout punctuated with tree building. So on that note of tree building, one kind of cool side effect that I want to show you guys that I didn't expect to happen, but it's just when I was cleaning the airbrush booth, I found it was just taking place naturally. So after you do about 25 or so trees, I just basically scrape the airbrush booth out with this drywall scraper, and I was finding, if you could see there, it's doing it. It actually, the way that I'm doing these trees, it makes almost a kind of like one of those grass mats, and it's a flat green color. Hard to see here, maybe you can't see it as good, but it actually doesn't look too bad. So I've been putting these in between the trees, and they look good, like in the background. I probably wouldn't use it for foreground scenery material, but this is almost like that Scenery Express or Fleur grass mats or whatever. So that's kind of a neat side effect of the tree making. And at least this stuff doesn't go to waste. I can use it on the layout, put it in the forested areas, and it looks pretty good on the ground cover. We got one there. Looks like there's probably a couple more in here that I can get out. So I was able to get a little bit of ballast from my local hobby shop, so I will be able to start ballasting over at the beginning of staging. I always was planning on ballasting over there, so it'll be good to have just a little bit to kind of get me by. Found out that there's no way I can get the 25-pound bags up here in Canada. It's just way too ridiculous to ship that much weight. So I'm going to have to stick with these half-gallon Scenery Express ballast containers for now, and I'll just have to get a bunch of them, I guess. This is the color I really like. It's this it's blended Scenery Express number 50. But you can also use this gray, which is just more of a lighter color, but you can weather it to whatever you need, or mix it with the darker gray stuff. So that'll be starting over here. Not sure when, but I'm going to do probably a significant amount of staging. Probably maybe I'll start back here and ballast all 5 tracks coming out and on the other side as well, and then start working my way out onto the layout this way. So that'll be this winter's project. So that's what I'm going to be working on over the next month, and that'll wrap up this layout update. So thanks a lot for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.